MTN SME Hub. Link to growth, link to success, link to the ultimate resource for business advice and insights.
Welcome back to the Big Small Business Show. We continue our conversation with Heidi Brauer, and we're talking marketing. If you haven't been watching the show up until now, watch the show. Go back, go onto YouTube, find the previous episode and watch this show. This is a marketing masterclass like you've never had before. And we really feel great to have you in studio with us today. We feel quite privileged to have you here. We were speaking before about these accountants or this financial person who are running businesses and their lack of appreciation for marketing unless we explain to them what upside, what revenue that we can generate from it and what profitability. So it feels like from a measurability perspective that social media is the one that I can quickly go to them and say, we spent 10,000 Rand, we had 100,000 people see this thing, 12% of them clicked through and 4% purchased. So the inclination then is to go put everything into that is measurable. But that's not the way to think about it, is it?
No, it's not, because if we go right back to the beginning of episode 1 where I said from the customer's point of view, customers, consumers, whether they're B2B or B2C, are 360 beings. They are driving past billboards, they're watching TV, they're going to the movies, they're picking up pamphlets and brochures, they're listening to word of mouth from people. They are not only digital. And in order to break through the clutter, you need to be in their faces as much as possible. Now, the danger today is that Peter Drucker said, and I love market research and I love data. Peter Drucker said, you can't manage what you don't measure. I agree. But in the days today of measurable and you can do attributions and figure where your clicks came from, you have to be careful not to only do what you can measure. Because billboard presence and all of those things start you at the top of the funnel.
This is your cake. You're going to put...
It's a cake and a funnel.
Yeah.
That stuff starts you here so that you can take people down the funnel.
Yeah.
And actually, you need to think of marketing at 4 levels, really. And you asked me about category earlier. Here's another fresh illustration, fresh, shiny. It says you have to market your brand so people know your name. Let's just say that, your name, and that you exist. Otherwise, they can't click. They have to know what category you're in, perhaps. Maybe you're in finance. Oh, I wish I could say it, but I won't because I don't want to diss anybody. But there's somebody spending a lot of money at the moment, very cool looking creative. I don't know what they sell. I can't figure it out.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay, we'll talk about it later. That is different from that, and then telling people about your product's different, and then performance marketing, which can be SMS lead generation or online with a call to action, SMS 31050 or click here or whatever. People, you might need to do all of these or a few of these, not only here where you can measure. Now, I've had CEOs saying, why do we do billboards? Remind me about billboards. Because when people are driving in the traffic, whether they're in a taxi or whatever it is, they look out the window, they see you. All of it is building your cake, the layers of the cake, so that at some point when you want a delicious slice of an airline or an insurer or a taxi service, or am I getting Uber or Bolt or whatever, you have built up some perception that you want a slice of that cake. And that's why you can't only do this bottom stuff. You have to think about all of these things. Just remember, if people don't know you exist, how can they go to your website? If they don't know you exist, how can they follow you on the socials? So you have to do the hard yards up front.
The starting inside. You spoke about internal marketing, is right, and that your people are also your brand, and how you actually communicate your brand to your people. It's not just that they are your brand, but it's also that you are quite proactive in communicating your brand to your people. Have I understood that?
Yes, and it's both of those things. Years ago, I remember listening to a radio ad. I banked with a certain bank. It was red, but it's now all sorts of colors. And they had a radio ad saying, call this number for this product. So I phoned, and the call center didn't know about the product because they'd done a great job on the campaign. So great that I phoned, but they'd forgotten to tell their internal stakeholders. It's just such a crazy thing, and it happens.
Wow. So you're saying they went out with a campaign, but the business was not made aware of it?
Yeah. It's easy, I want to say it's a rookie error, but it's not.
Yeah, that's not a rookie error. Did somebody get fired for it?
It's an easy thing to do. So my philosophy is inside first. You have to start inside first with anything you do, any campaign, any repositioning, any communication. And when you have a map of your stakeholders, I like to actually draw like a universe or the planet in the center and other planets orbiting. Your brand is your planet in the center, and orbiting you are all the people who have an impact in your business or who are impacted by your business, which could be communities, it could be regulatory bodies and so on. The next to your planet, orbiting closest to you, are your employees. They must know what you sell, what you stand for, what your purpose is, what makes you distinctive, because they are the ones that will go and stand around a bar and go, oh my God, you can't know what happened this week at work. Or they'll say, oh, you can't believe what happened. So that when a person is going to choose their next whatever, in the back of their mind, they're thinking about you. Word of mouth is very powerful, and it starts with your people inside.
Heidi, we've come to the end of our second episode together. So that's part 2 of our masterclass with Heidi Brauer. And I'm going to tell you what my opening question is going to be for the next episode. What is Heidi's brand?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you that because I'm going to see if you practice what you preach.
Good, like a taste.
So if you've enjoyed today's show and you didn't watch last week, go back onto YouTube and watch last week, and please stay tuned for next week's show. And do remember, as always, if you think it, write it down and make it a reality.
The Big Small Business Show, proudly sponsored by MTN Business.